Hello guys, Uzo here. In this video, I'm going to talk about some things that might end up pissing a lot of people off, but they're going to be hard truths. Some hard truths dealing with PvP in WoW and in particular SoloQ rated battlegrounds. A lot of people out there try to compare the different PvP formats, but they're quite dissimilar from each other in most cases. For example, Arena. And I'm going to talk about 3v3 Arena, and I'm going to talk about high-rated 3v3 Arena. High-rated 3v3 Arena is the most demanding PvP format in the game. Okay, I say that as a battleground player. It is the most demanding PvP format in the game because it absolutely requires the player to have mastery over their spec. You cannot do high-rated 3v3 Arena if you have significant flaws in your gameplay. Now, BGs, on the other hand, do not require mastery of your spec. When I say mastery of your spec, I'm talking about mechanical precision and mastery of your spec. Because in BGs, the most important thing is map awareness, understanding the objectives and the win conditions for the map, and being able to see pathways to victory. And you can have all those things without being a master of your spec. So I actually really don't like it when people start trying to compare Arena to BGs, because Arena is team deathmatch and BGs is objective based. In Arena, if someone on your team dies, that's pretty much it. You know, that's almost a guaranteed loss for you. But that's not true in BGs. In fact, the team that does worse on damage and kills can often win the BG, and a player who has 0 kills and 6 deaths might actually be the MVP for your team winning that BG. For example, maybe they were in an outnumbered fight and they were stalling a cap on farm. You know, they were spinning the flag. So they spin the flag, they prevent the cap, they die. You know, someone else spins the flag, stops it. You know, that person that died, they run back to their body from the graveyard. They res and they spin the flag again, keep the people on the enemy team from capping. And they do this a few times, and maybe they end up with 3 or 4 deaths, but they stop the enemy team from capping the farm, and that leads to a victory. So someone who has no kills, dies a lot, can be instrumental in your team winning a BG. So it's pretty cliche, but it's true. Comparing Arena to BGs is like comparing apples to oranges. Okay, so how about comparing SoloQ rated BGs with the other BG formats? How does it compare to full 10v10 rated BGs? How does it compare to random BGs? I'm not even going to talk about epic BGs. That's just a queue syncing pre-made nightmare. So which is SoloQ rated BGs more similar to? Is it more similar to random BGs, or is it more similar to full 10v10 rated BGs? Well, the answer to that is that it's more similar to random BGs. You see, in a 10v10 rated BG, you're coming in with a full team. Everybody has a job. Everybody knows what their role is. Everybody knows what their job is. And everybody is good at doing their job at high rating. Now, the problem in SoloQ rated BGs is you can call for help. Let's say you're defending a base. You can call for help in raid chat. You can do a raid warning if you're leader. You can ping to hell out of the base that's going to be under attack. And in a SoloQ RBG, you might not get help. You might not get help, and you might be out there on your own trying to defend your base against multiple enemies. In fact, that happens quite a lot. It happens in this video that I have running in the background. But if you call for help in a 10v10 rated BG, guess what? You are going to get help. And that makes defending the base easier in rated BGs, full 10v10 rated BGs, than doing it in SoloQ rated BGs. And that is why SoloQ rated BGs are most similar to random BGs. If you're solo queuing random BGs, you are often on your own. You have to self-sustain. You have to take care of yourself. If something is happening that's bad in the BG, you as an individual have to go take care of that problem. You cannot trust the other people on your team to take care of it. See, that's what separates it from 10v10 rated BGs. Because again, everybody has a role, everybody has a job, they all know what their job is, they're good at doing their job, and they will go and do their job. That doesn't happen in random BGs, and that does not happen in solo queue rated BGs. Solo queue rated BGs is most similar to random BGs when you're solo queuing random BGs. So the people that have been solo queue in random BGs for years and years and years, and that's their favorite format, and they've gotten good at it, those people are going to be good at solo queue rated BGs, because they're the ones that know that when something bad is happening in the match, they have to stand up, and it's on them to do something about it. They cannot depend on the other people on their team to do something about it. These are the types of players that are going to do well in solo queue rated BG. Now, if they have that attitude, and on top of that, they're very mechanically skilled at their spec, those are going to be the very top players in solo queue rated BGs. Now again, I want to clarify, because I know people are going to take what I'm saying out of context, completely misrepresent it and misinterpret it. I am saying that 3v3 high rated arena is the most demanding PvP format in the game. 10v10 full rated BGs is more demanding than solo queue rated BGs in order to advance in that format. But solo Q RBGs brings its own difficulties, right? It brings its own skill set, which players that do very well in arena and players that do very well in 10v10 rated BGs might not have. And I've seen it myself playing solo Q RBGs. I've seen many like rank 1 players, come into solo Q BGs and do things wrong. I've seen more than enough heroes of the Alliance, heroes of the Hordes that come into a solo Q rated BG and they seem entirely lost. Part of that is because they don't have a leader telling them what they should be doing. And they haven't developed those personal skills, that map awareness, that ability to understand pathways to winning on their own. Right? So they've been depending on team leaders directing them where to go. Now, those players at high levels are going to be very, very mechanically skilled at their classes and specs. Okay? Some of the best in the game at that, no doubt. But they might be lacking in the other areas that are necessary to succeed in solo queue rated BGs. Now, saying that, it's much easier to develop your map awareness and, understanding the maps and seeing pathways to victory, right? It's much easier to improve that than it is to improve your mechanical skill as a player. So keep that in mind. Those high-rated players that are coming in from Arena and 10v10 rated BGs will be able to adjust much faster than someone, let's say, who's mechanically flawed and a BG player would be able to go into Arena or 10v10 rated BGs and be able to succeed. So keep that in mind. I'm just being honest here. This is the truth that I'm saying. So it's all about attitude, basically. And it's easy to change your attitude. Here, let me show you an example of a really, really bad attitude.
Alright. I think the Horde have unfortunately captured a flag already somehow. Well, I was just trying to kill the Ellie Shaman, perhaps. Time to die. Drop the hammer on him. Was anyone planning on going for the flag? Oh, I certainly wasn't. No. Not me. Not me. How dare you. Uh-oh. Oh, the rogue's back. I see him. He's lurking in the shadows. Oh yeah, I was definitely not planning on going for the flag. I'll kill the enemy flag carrier, but I won't be carrying it on myself. Ooh, uh-oh. I think I fully intend on treating these like just regular battlegrounds. I don't think I'll be treating this like a rated bracket whatsoever.
Well, you can't get much more of a shitty attitude than that in solo queue rated BGs. First of all, he's totally blind to what's happening with the objectives in the match. He's in a team fight tunnel visioning an elemental shaman before this, while the EFC runs the flag all the way from his base to their base in caps, while his team doesn't have the flag. You see, now myself, if I see that situation where the enemy team has the flag and we don't, I try to immediately break out of combat and either go kill the EFC or go get the flag so he can't cap. Okay, but not Bajira, because getting the flag is beneath him. That's for the peons, so to speak. You know, he's much more interested in going into team fights, regardless of whether they're helping his team win or not, and topping damage and getting the most killing blows into BG. That is his priority. His priority is not actually winning. So he's not going to treat this like it's a real rated format, you know, but this is completely disrespectful for all of the other players that are in there in this rated format that are taking it seriously and they do want to win. Bajira, this attitude of being what we like to call a scoreboard whore, is one of the absolute worst type of people to have on your team if you're wanting to win. Now, as I mentioned before, Bajira is a very mechanically skilled player because he does high-rated arena. But his attitude is total shit here. And if he doesn't want to take the format seriously, then don't fucking queue for it. Go do random BGs with your 5-man pre-made with 2 healers, an augmentation evoker, and an enhancement shaman to feed you buffs so you can top damage and killing blows into BG. Or go do arena, which is obviously something that you do care about. But don't do a rated format if you're not in there to try to help your team win. I hope I didn't piss too many people off. I know some things, when you hear them, when they're true, they can be painful to hear. But it's true. And I hope to change the attitude of a lot of people. Oh, actually, let me, before I go. So Markers actually put out a video recently, and I was happy to see that he recognizes exactly what I'm talking about in this video. Let me show you this short clip.
So I want to kind of go over a little tier list because I've been playing a ton of it and actually very much enjoying it. And I want to kind of give some feedback on what I've been seeing so far and potentially good classes that will be good in this bracket. Okay, I have quite a few disclaimers here because I know people are going to be heated on some of these tier choices. I do top damage every game and my team just doesn't win. Why do I keep losing? Because damage doesn't matter. Okay? Damage is not very important in this bracket. I think that's an understanding that has not been achieved by the majority of this population yet.
That is something that I've been preaching for years when it comes to random BGs. And now we have the SoloQ rated BGs, and I've been saying that, but when I say it on the forums, I get a lot of pushback from people that will say, oh, well, you're only saying that, you know, damage doesn't matter as much as objectives because you're a bad player. You know, I actually get that pushback. Those people don't know what they're talking about. They're totally clueless. Players like Bajira are one of the reasons why people have this pervasive mentality that's incorrect. Doing top damage, getting a lot of killing blows can definitely help your team win, but playing the objectives is much more important. If your team is topping damage and getting top killing blows, but nobody on your team is playing objectives, guess what? You lose.